reactive forms and model driven, template driven forms. Have you implemented the validations for the pending one, the last example? Okay. If that is the case, good. Okay, today we will see like how do we work with the next concept and the important one in Angular, that is routing. Keep the heading. Keep the heading. Close here. Okay, what you guys know about the routing? First of all, what is mean by routing? Don't know anything. Right. Generally, whenever if you can open any web application, the web application will comes with different pages. And when user click on a particular page, we will be getting that page related data. And when user click on another page, we'll navigate to that particular page and display the data that page is having. Like that, we will be doing an operation, and that is what we call it as navigation. So what a routing will do is, routing will provide the page navigations. One second. Okay, when it comes to the routing is a technique. It is a technique which is used to provide navigation within the application, I can say. Within the application, I can say. That means it provides the navigation within that application. Generally, we can do this kind of, the navigation with the help of an anchor tag, right? I hope everyone knows about that anchor tag in the HTML. What it will do? Same, navigation only. Then why routing mechanism was introduced? And this routing, like, we configure the routing in two ways. We configure the routing in two places. First one is going to be either you can write it in server side or you can write it in the client side. Or else if you want to do that, both you can do that also. That means in your application, maybe as a .NET developer, I can tell you we have a web APIs are available. There I can configure the routing mechanism. And I know very well Spring Boot also is having the routing mechanism. Or else if we can go with any of the back-end tools, maybe let's say Python is also support this particular concept. Not exactly the Python, it's a Django. Okay. Django or Django, whatever. So all these are what server side. We can handle it like, the server side routing, but at the same time, the client side also is having the routing mechanism where you can have it in that Angular, or the same concept you can have it in the React.js, or the same concept you can have it in the Vue.js, etc. That what we are having. Now my question is, very important question. Generally, if you can take an anchor tag will do the same thing. If you can see, let's say I'll be opening my Visual Studio. In my Visual Studio, I'll add like, a simple file. Okay, I'll be adding a simple file here. Maybe let's say index or else some name you can give sample dot txt, sorry, sample dot html I'll be creating. Now you can observe that sample.html. Now in the HTML, I'll be taking the HTML5 structure. First of all, HTML5. And here I'll be taking a simple H1. Okay, welcome to maybe let's say navigation or whatever. And here I'll take a UL tag and then I can go with an li tag, and I'll be creating some links over here with the help of an anchor tag. A href is equal to, maybe I can go with /home /index.html. So like that, this is the home. And the same way, I'm just going something like this. Okay. Now you see, in place of it, I'll go with about.html, and then we have the contact.html, and then we will be having maybe let's say blogs.html, where I can give an about page and where I can go with a contact page, where I can go with a blogs page. Now you see, when I right click and then execute this particular one, open with the default browser. Maybe I can take the Google Chrome and see here, am I having the navigation here or not? When user click on here, I'm able to redirect it, but I don't have a file. So that is the reason where it is showing me 404, file not found, but it's okay. But when user is clicking on here, am I able to navigate to that particular pages or not? Then the very important question is, Shrikant, already we have this one, then why should I include the routing mechanism, and why routing was integrated for all these many technologies? It's all because, routing will provide, okay, generally routing, simply I can say, and hyperlink also configure the, hyperlink also configures the navigation, but it navigates the user from one page to another page or named locations. That means as a user, I supposed to go to that particular pages. The data, whatever you requested, which will not come when you navigate, rather what happened? The user has to navigate to that particular page. That is how it is going to be. But coming to especially the routing mechanism, that means routing will use Ajax calls, generally Ajax calls, and also routing will use Ajax calls, and also user will never navigate, or else user will not navigate from one page to another page, and everything we can access it in a single page, and that is the reason it often call it as single page application, and generally we call it as ASPA. That means in your application, if you can include the navigation, or else if you can include the routing mechanism, then that is a single page application. So far, like we created many pages, right? And we never used the routing mechanism, so that is a multi-page application. But once if you can use the routing mechanism in your application, then that will automatically become a single page application. Simple shortcut is going to be SPA, single page application. One of the beautiful feature. Shrikant, what is the difference between the hyperlink and this one? Hyperlink means when user click on it, manually it is redirect or navigate to that particular pages, right? But if it is a routing mechanism, user will never navigate to some other page. Suppose let's say I'm in the home.aspx or else like home.html page. I'm requesting the data from the blog space, then blog space data also will come dynamically and sits on the home page. Suppose I requested for an employee page data. Then when user click on that employee data, then employee related data, whatever we are having, it directly comes to the app component only. Or else I need some XYZ components data, it directly come from there and sits on the app component. That means from that page only, user can access different data without navigating or without reloading the page. Everything you can get it on the same page. That is how the routing will work. I involved in one project development. I will show you. This project initially we started from the Hyderabad location only. It was started. Now it was great updation. But originally when they have started this one, I have around 2 to 3 years of experience. And at that time, Angular JS was used, not that Angular. But now it was seems migrated to that Angular, I guess. I'm not sure, but when I worked with this project, it was completely Angular JS only. Nothing apart from that bootstrappy font awesome filter, event list.js, common list. Here you can observe that how it is going to be. I'm not sure what script right now they are writing. But originally it was like a single page application. If you select anything, observe the page reloading here. The page is not going to be reloaded. You can see that. Is my page is reloading? See this? That means everything you can click, it comes to the same page. If you can click on here, now observe that the page is not reloading. But am I able to see the relate data or not? You can see right now it is 427 result. But the time when I remove this one and it is getting updated, it is making an Ajax call and get the relevant data. Now it is 345. That means internally that operation is happened, but we are not navigating to that page. Everything comes to the single page. That is what we call it as single page application. The best example, your Facebook apps. Your Facebook app right now you people are using, that is a single page application. And most of the email pages, the landing pages are going to be single page applications only. If you can open, let's say, gmail.com, Gmail will load all the pages. Now you see, when I click on it, observe that is my page is refreshing now. See there. I'm able to see all the emails here, right? But you can observe that is my page is refreshing here. Now this is also this dashboard, whatever we are having is also going to be a single page application only. But the time when user click on here, now you see again the same thing. The URLs are changed, but the thing is here, the page is not refreshed. You can see that when I go to here, or else when I click on inbox, starred, snoozed, and important, if you can see, and you can give the send, and you can see the page is not refreshed here. This is also an example for single page application. Nowadays, these kind of application development is one of the good practice. But Shrikant, then do we have all our single page application? Means no. We have lot of application which are still having the multi-page, but the single page applications are much more popular, and we can build that with the help of a concept that is what we call it as routing, and this can be implemented either on the server side or on the client side. And we are not targeting any kind of server here, so that I can go with the client side with the help of the Angular. Clear na? Simple term, routing means It is a technique to provide the navigation for your application without reloading the whole page. No need to reload the whole page. That is how it is going to be. Now, the next one is going to be in practical orientation. Routing will help us to provide user-friendly URLs, okay, user-friendly URLs, and also SEO friendly. Search engine optimization, there is a mechanism. It is not done by us. We have a separate team of people whom we call them as a digital marketer. You know the digital marketing courses, right? What they are doing, they are going to do these kind of activities, SEO. I told you already, if you can search for something in the Google, by default, it gives you like, couple of list of websites. Suppose I just wanted to purchase a TV, then what I can do, let's say, maybe 45-inch TV. Okay. When I type it, then you can see by default Amazon is coming, and after that Chroma is coming, after that Amazon is having, and then you can see Flipkart. So how I am able to see only this list? We have like lot many places where you can find the TVs, right? Where you can find the mobile. Suppose I just wanted to get something like iPhone 14 Pro if I wanted to get. When I type it over there, now you can see by default we are having an Apple, Amazon, and GSM Arena or something. And like that, Flipkart is coming India store. But apart from that one, we have many. But why those are not coming? It's all like, a business. It's a business. Generally, it's a business. The business is what we call it as a digital marketing. And in the digital marketing, SEO, search engine optimization, is one part of it. What they are doing based on the user set, they will map with the letters that what we have it in our application. Like every business right now is required. Every business is required right now, this digital marketing skill. The emails that what you people are getting on daily basis, the messages that you people are getting, everything comes under the business only. And in that, if your application is having the routing mechanism, then those contain the user-friendly URL. If the URL is user-friendly, then search engine optimization is also going to be very much easy, so that improves the business. That is also one of the reason where the routing mechanism is going to be that much popular. And all these routing, that means routing requires a library that is @angular/router. Okay, @angular/router is the library where you can have, and here we have like many classes are available, and a few modules. Router module is available, and the next one is going to be, we have route class is available, and at the same time we have router outlet is available, and at the same time router link is available, etc. All these are available under which library? @Angular/router. And from Angular 5 onwards, 5, we need not to configure everything from scratch, because we have a boilerplate code to configure the routing. So that means the time, like, whenever you created an application, the first question what it is asking you? The time like when we created an application. Now you can see, I'll open my command prompt, and here you can see ng generate, and the name of it is going to be an application, and here I can say routing demo, that what I can give. And the time when I click on OK, now the first question what it is asking me, would you like to add the Angular routing or not? That means if you can say yes, then automatically it gives you the boilerplate code. That means it comes with some predefined code where you can just do the modification. That's it. You need not to write anything from the scratch level. It is not required. Now I'll say yes, 99% of the scenario, this routing is going to be configured initially, very initial days when they start the development. As a fresher level, you never get a chance to configure from the scratch, even from your end, but you should know, like, where to write the routing. That is important. Now you can see, would you like to add the routing? Yes, I can go with that. And the style sheet format is going to be CSS, and it might take a minute. Just wait a minute. Right. Now you can just come back here and go to there. We have the project, and inside the project we have the routing demo, and inside that we have an SRC folder, and there you can see app folder, and there is a new module which is integrated here. And what is the module here? It is, you can see, app routing module, that what we are having. Understood? App routing module is available, and here you can see constant routes, and which is of type what? Routes, that what we are having. Now quickly, what I just want to do is I'll create a folder under that SRC, or else like under that app folder, let me have a folder with the name what? Components. And here I'm going to provide, like, some list of component. Maybe I can open that in an integrated terminal. I am giving a CMD here, and also ngg c for the component, and I'll be writing the home component hyphen skip hyphen test I can give. This is the first one. Like that, I'll be creating few more components also. Okay, in place of home, let's say about I can give. In place of that, I'll be giving contact, I can say. And the last one, blocks, that what I can give. In place of this, let's have the blocks component, and then click on OK. So to work with, I'm going to show you, like, the series of steps what needs to be followed while working with the routing. So the step number 1 is going to be, okay, step number 1 is going to be, what you guys needs to do is steps to work with routing. Steps to work with routing. First, step number 1 is going to be create an application and include the routing by giving yes. Okay, that means at the time of creating that application itself, you can say yes to include the routing in your application. This will create a routing module file, a routing module file, that what it gets created. And then step number 2 is going to be create the required components and complete the development. So whatever you guys wants to do, you can do that. That's up to you. Now what I can do, I don't want to write anything, because I hope you people might know how to work with the components already. So that I'll straight away go to here, and then I'm going to use H1. Maybe let's say welcome to home page is the one. And at the same time, we have what? This is the home. After that, we have the contact page is available where I can say welcome to contact page, I can say, and save it. And after that, we will be having blocks is available. Welcome to block space, that what I can give and save it. And the last one is going to be, we have what? About page is available. Let me have the welcome to about page. So the development, that's up to you. Whatever you guys wants to build, you can do that one. Now that is what the second step, create the required component and complete the development. And step number 3 is going to be, provide the hyperlinks for the navigation with router link attribute, Now what I can do here, the first I'll be taking the home, app component as my starter, so that the complete code, whatever I'm having, I'm removing it. And here I'll be taking a simple H1, welcome to Angular routing, including any bootstrap and all, as we are almost ready to end the session, so that from now onwards, I don't want to concentrate more on the UI. You people can add the bootstrap and you can try to do that, because bootstrap only will take more time for the design. That is the reason. So this is how it is. Now let me write a simple style here. Text alignment, center I can give. That's it. Now here I'm going to provide the links. So how to create the link? Let's say I'll be taking the UL. Okay, leave about it. UL I'll be taking, and at the same time I'm having an LI. Generally, how to create the link? I told you we will be using an anchor tag, right? Here also we use that anchor tag, but generally anchor tag will contain href. But here, what I'll be doing, I am using router link. With what name you guys wants to provide, you can give it over there. I am just giving home over here. Okay, this is the one. And at the same time, let me copy this and paste it here for the second one. About I can say. And here also, I'll be giving that about. And then you can give the third one is going to be, let's say, contact. And here also, I just wanted to go with the contact. And the last one is going to be, let's have the block. And here also, I'll be giving the blocks. That's it. That means just design the way how you want to display the link with the help of an anchor tag, but don't give the href. Instead of using that, use what? What we have to use? A router link has to be given something like this. Something like this. Now, step number 4 is going to be, configure the routes, that what I can say. How to configure the routes here? For that only, we have configured the routes in app-routing.module.ts is available. Now go to that particular file. Don't need to do, you need not to do anything. Just you can see what we are having. Import ng module. Why that ng module is required? Because every module, if you wanted to create, we should have a decorator of what? Ng module decorator is required. The way how we create a component and all. Generally, this module will contain, around 4 to 5 metadata property. First one is the imports, which is used to import some other module to this particular module. Second one, export, what you guys wants to export to other module. And third one, declaration. Declarations are used to register the angular element. Like components, when you create it, automatically that comes under the declaration or not. If you can see, when I go to here, when I'm creating the component, or else a pipe, or else a directive, anything which directly comes under the declaration section only, right? Yes or no? So this is how it is going to be. Under the declaration section, we are having all the angular element. After that, import is used to import the module from one to another. And the next one is going to be providers are available. These are used for the service level services. I'll come to this point later. And I hope Bootstrap, everyone knows what is the purpose of it. Now, all together, we call it as a module. But even though it is a module, it is a TypeScript class. So that to make the differentiation, every angular element which comes with the decorator that marks a class as an ng module and supplies the metadata configuration. That means this is a module. Ng module means what? Which is used to create the modules within your code. Now it creates by default one module, that is a app routing module also. The time when you say yes, this file will be created. If you can say no, okay, then automatically this file will not get created. Understood? Now here we have a variable with the name what? Routes variable is available. Now what you guys can do is here you can provide the routing. Now the first one is going to be the path. Now what is the path? With what name we created these links, give exactly the same path here also. Okay. So, and then at that time, which component you wanted to load? I'm going to load which component? Home component. That means when user is requesting from this particular path, then I wanted to load which one? Home component. And like that, you can provide the links. Second one is going to be what we are having. About is available. I'll copy and give it over here. And here I can say that about component. And the same time, I'll be using the third one is going to be, what is that? If the path is going to be, contact, then you can load which component? Which component? Contact component. And the last one is going to be, suppose, let's say, if the path is going to be blocks, now what I can do? I'll be using the component that is blocks component. Okay, blocks component, like that it is. So this is the way to configure the routes. Understood? Or any questions? This is the way to configure the routes. Now, when user click on this home link, then it comes to here and verify the component. Okay, it verify the component, but where this component has to be loaded, we should have, I told you that any component you requested, all components data should come to a single place, right? That is how, like, the single page application. For that reason, we should have a place, and that place must be created with the help of a tag, that is what we call it as router outlet. Now, Srikanth, what is router outlet? Router outlet is a dynamic memory which is going to be loaded whenever the routing is happen. Now you see, that means the next point is going to be use the router outlet. I can say the next step number 4 is going to be what? Step number 4 is what? Sorry, it's 5. Step number 5, use the router outlet to load the component content. To load the component content. Now, wherever you configure the links, there you can give it. That's up to you. Now I am writing like this. Now this time you can see. Let me execute my application. let's say nges hyphen o hyphen project is equal to, let's say, routing demo. That what I can give. Now you can see, welcome to Angular routing. Now if you can observe that, you see here, the page is not refreshed. You can observe that when I user click on the home, am I able to load the home component data here or not? When user click on about, see here, is my page is refreshing? Check there. Even though we get the data from different component, it doesn't matter to me, but my page is not getting refreshed at anywhere. Understood? So this is what exactly the routing means. Concept is too simple, but where to configure and how to configure, that steps are very important. Concept is too simple. Any advanced course you can learn, it automatically gives you easy way to do your work. Learning core Java is very difficult. Seriously. C language is very difficult. Compared with Java and C#, C is going to be very difficult. That is only the reason we have if there is a C batch, hardly 50 to 60 people who are joining. But if it is Java and .NET, we have hundreds of the people. Why? Because those are developer friendly. Any advanced course you can learn, those are developer friendly, obviously. That is only the reason. But end of the day, base is important. End of the day, it is important. That is the reason even for Angular, same thing you can do with the help of JavaScript also. But for that, you have to write lot of code. Lot of code you have to write. But instead of doing that, we use that Angular, because Angular, they created a library for us all together. That is what we call it as Angular/router. If you want, you can see, I use the same. Like if you can go to here, see there. Am I using that library here or not? Angular/router library. And by using that, I can configure everything. But what we are having in this library, JavaScript only. Nothing apart from that one. You see Angular/router. If we can go to the node module, let's say I'll be using router. Angular/router library. Maybe Angular is available at somewhere. Angular is the library. There CLI, forms, platform, browser. You see there, router library and ESAM, SRC, component, empty outlet. You see what they have contained, JavaScript. End of the day, everything is comes under the JavaScript only. Nothing apart from that one. Index.mjs, copyright Google LLC, all rights reserved. Understood? So that means instead of writing everything from our end, they configured the routing for us. And now here, when it comes to the routing, you should understand and another important one is, suppose let's say, I'll be creating a new link here. Maybe I'll copy this and then paste it over here. Maybe let's say I'm going to write a link. The link is going to be, let's say, login. I'll be writing login, that what I'll be using. But I'm not created any kind of I haven't created any kind of login component. Click on login. There you see nothing is happened. You can just refresh it once again. Okay, refresh it once again. Now you see this is how. But the time when user click on login, nothing is happened here, right? There is some cases where you created the front end link, but the back end, the routing is not configured properly. At that particular moment, generally, if you can go to any website, if the link is not open, then you will be displaying some message to the user, right? Like a website under the construction, or else some message that you can give. So to configure that, we use what a different routing, that what we call it as the name is like good. I'm not getting the name. Wildcard routes. The name is wildcard routes. Name is too tricky and complex, but the purpose is like this one. If you can give 2 stars, and then you can go with the component, and the component is going to be, let us create like one component. Maybe I'll be adding another component to this one. I'll integrate it with the terminal. Let's have the CMD and the NGGC for that. Not found, I can say hyphen skip hyphen test I can give. Now you can see not found component is available. Now you can see whenever, sorry, right. Wildcard routes are available. Sorry. If the path is going to be 2 stars. Now this time you can see I'm coming here. Now that first time when user execute, now you can see not found works. When user click on login, am I able to see this or not? When user click on home is fine, about is fine, contact is fine, blocks is fine. But suppose let's say if you have like couple of places where you just have created a link, but you are not configured anything to that one, then in stuff like not displaying anything, what I can do, I'll be providing some generic message. Generic message is going to be something like this. Let's have a paragraph tag, page under construction or something. I am writing something like this and save that application. Now you see home is working fine, about is working fine, contact is working fine, blocks are working fine. When I go with the login, now you see it is showing me page under construction. And for this one, Angular team, they have given a name is wildcard route. Okay, technically we call it as wildcard routes. When it is going to be helpful, whenever if you are not created a proper way, the routing mechanism, then still instead of not displaying anything, if you wanted to provide some generic message, then you can go with this particular one. That is the one. And also another thing is, by default right now, when I'm executing it, you see I'm just executing it. By default, you see what happened, not page under construction is coming, because wildcard routes are going to be the high priority routes. That is where like it is showing me like this. But I don't want to go with like this. I just wanted to make the home as going to be my startup page. Okay, the startup page is going to be the home. When the component is loaded, app component, I wanted to make home page as my startup. For that one also, what you guys can do is, the path is going to be empty. When it is an empty path, then I'm going to load the component. That is which component? Home component. And we have path match is available. I'll be giving full path match. That means whenever for the first time, if user has not given any value, first time if user execute, by default, which one I wanted to execute? Home component. Now you can just come back here. Now this time you see home is executed. I'll be removing this one and click on OK. Now still you are under the home page or not? See that. Yes or no? You can see there. Still we are under the home page, home, about, contact, blog, login. But you see the time when I'm removing everything, now still we are under the home page. And this is also what we call it as a wildcard route only. Okay, wildcard routes are the special route which can be used to configure the startup pages, and at the same time, if the routing was not configured properly, then if you wanted to do something, then at that time we can go with this one. Okay, wildcard routes, very very important interview question. Okay, wildcard routes, these are used to configure starting for the route, and also if the routing, or else if the requested path is not available, then it redirects to that, it redirects to another path. Okay, it redirects to the another path that what we are having. This is what we call it as wildcard routes, and we create the wildcard route something like this. This is the one way. Okay, and this is also another one. This is also an example for that wildcard routes, that what I can say. Clear, or do we have any questions? Any questions here from online? Okay, so wildcard routes are nothing but like whenever, if my application is loaded, now you see by default I'll close it, and if I'm not configured anything, I'll be removing it. Okay, I'll be removing it and save that application. And you can see the time when I open something like localhost 4200, by default what it is showing me, it is showing me the login. Why it is showing me that one is because I configured a wildcard route, so the first priority will be giving it to the wildcard route only. But instead of doing that, what I want to do, I just wanted to provide a special route. What it is, if my path is going to be an empty path, then I wanted to load which component, home component, and I just wanted to see whether that particular path is going to be perfectly matched or not. Suppose if user give any other character, then I don't want to load the home. That is what the condition that I have specified. As because of that, you see, I am not having anything after the path URL. That is where it is showing me what? Home page only. Any there other wild routes available similar to? No. No, we can like, generally wildcard means special routes. How many you can configure? If it is not like, available, then one. If you wanted to route to different page, then also. If you wanted to route to different page, then also we have to use in this way. If you wanted to go with like another pages, mean that is not a single page application, right? Then why this routing mechanism? The requirement is here what? We wanted to create a single page application. Everything comes under the single page. But if you wanted to redirect it to another page, then why should we include this one? You can create simple anchor tag and you can do that one, right? That is all. How many types of wildcard routes? Wildcard routes, it's one only. How can we give the link to dynamic component? Dynamic component in the sense, Any component, if without creating, we can't do anything, right? Okay. Few words about router link active and okay. We have only 2 use cases, man. More, I'll check with the Google. Anchor tag also having target parent page. Okay. But if you can use that anchor tag will be, I will show you now itself. Let's have an LI. Now, as you guys are asking me the href, I'll be giving, let's say, index.html, and this is how I am writing. Maybe the name is going to be index. I can give and save that application and just come back here. Now, this time you can see the time when user click on that index, the page is refreshed or not. Observe the page refresh here. See there. Check the browser above. The page is refreshing, right? So if your page is refreshing means internally it reload the whole page and navigating to that particular place. That is how. But when user click on the home, about, even though we are getting the data, is my page is refreshed anytime? See there? That is what the difference. Got it. Okay. Maybe in the application we may have dynamically generated component. Tell me the scenario. Any component which never dynamic generation. It's all about the calling. Simply. Without creating, we don't have any way to do that one generally. Tell me one use case so that I can take that as an example. I'll convert it into an example. Wildcard routing used for giving main preference among the one. Yeah, obviously. It is giving the high priority for the routes. That's it. Nothing apart from that, sir. Can we make all multi-page application into single page? Yes, we can do that. See, here also, right now, when user click on the home about contact, I told you that that implementation, that's up to you. Whatever that implementation you guys wants to maintain, you can. Suppose, let's say, in my, let's say contact page, or else let's say the blogs page. This is the blogs page where I can get the data also. Maybe I'll go to the TS file and here, maybe let's say public products, that what I can give product, what is the contract name? Product details, right? Product details, where I can have an array of the things. And then I'm using ng on init. I'll be using, and here maybe I can use the fetch method and I'll be getting all the products. So that's from fake store API, where I can do the product detail. Let us copy this and then get it over here. I can get all the data, and here I'll be using then, okay, X goes to X dot JSON, that what I can give. And at the same time, I'll be using the then X goes to, okay, X goes to this dot. We have the products is equal to X I can provide. Okay, now this component, blocks component will connect with there and we can get the data. And next one is going to be, so don't call it as a static page, because is this data is prepared here? Tell me. This data we are getting from some other API, right? Then how it is going to be a static page? It is a dynamic page. Okay, it is a dynamic page. Do remember. Don't call it as static. Now in the blocks component HTML, I'll be loading that product detail so that I'll copy this. I don't want to create any kind of the table and all. I'm just using a pipe to display the data. Now you see the time when I'm executing this one, now you see home is available, about is available, contact you can click. Now you can see blocks you can click. Now we have the data or not, but still you see when I click on about, the page is not refreshed. Even if I click on the block, is my page is refreshed? See there. The page refresh is not going to be happen at any point of time because internally it make use of Ajax call. That means it won't freeze all the resources that are required. It just leave it. You can see home, about, contact. When I click on the block, still we get the data from the database or some other party, third party. The page is not going to be refreshed at all. But you can see if you can use the hyperlink, every time when user click on it, is the page is refreshing it or not? So this is the main difference. And we are going to use dynamic pages only. It's all about, it's up to you. I thought of you people know how to connect with the component and all working. That is where I'm just giving a heading. But so far, whatever we have implemented, you can configure in a single example also. I guess Angular 8 or 9 at that time, I configured all that examples in single place, by using this mechanism. So every example you can find the output on there only. Even if you want to try, you can try that also with some beautiful UI and all. The way how we have the W3 schools, right? You can see in the W3 school, when I open the JavaScript, like this, I created all that example and giving it, and all that example output, I am configuring it here by taking a simple iframe, which is definitely good. If you want to do a practice, you can do that one also. Okay. And in SPA, static pages stores in cache only basically. Single page application, what it will do is it will get the data from the first request itself and main second it won't take much time because the data is readily available on the browser itself. Second request onwards, it is not taking more time. Next. For what? That you can try. Next. What it is? That's it. We have this one. We are going to create we will understand how to share the data. That is route parameter. And interesting topic, child routes, how to create the child route. And also route guards are available. Something like can activate, can deactivate. Like that, we have a couple of route guards are available. I'll just do that one. Okay, share me the code in the WhatsApp. Bhushan, please share the complete code. Because I don't know where the mistake is exactly. It is showing me in the HTML only, but it seems that object is possibly the null. Even though you use the null exceptions. Will so. I'll try the questions. No? Cool then. Thank you and have a nice day.
Recording stopped.